Hello everyone, my name is Lowko, and welcome to a best of 5 series of top level StarCraft 2. It's time for a Zerg versus Terran. We're in the upper right hand corner, playing in blue, we have none other than Reynor. And all the way in the bottom left, playing in red, we're looking inside of the main base of Maru. Now, of course, I recently had a look at a series between Maru and Zerg, and I think, without spoiling all too much, I think we can all conclude that Maru's Terran versus Zerg is phenomenal right now. He really has been ranking up once more again, right? Like, obviously, he's always been one of the very best players in the entire game. He's one of the very few, well, StarCraft 2 players that have earned more than $1 million in tournament earnings alone. So he's always been successful, but there was a time when he was struggling a little bit more, and it kind of felt like he was maybe not playing as much. I think it's all fair to say that right now, that is not the case whatsoever. Maru has been playing some spectacular StarCraft, but really, the same can be said as well for Reynor. About a year or so ago, Reynor definitely wasn't playing a ton of SC2. He was actually streaming a ton of League of Legends. I believe he actually still does. Anyways, there was this running joke in the StarCraft community that if you play too much League, apparently you start getting bad at StarCraft. Now, it was very clear though that after a few months of that, Reynor got back to SC2 and he started crushing noobs left, right, and center once more. And at this point in time, Reynor is looking sharp. But after that series that Maru played against Zerg, I am gonna favor the Terran here. Maru has just been looking on another level, even surpassing Clem, at the very least in the last few series that I've seen him play, even surpassing Clem in this particular matchup. What makes Maru so scary is that he's not afraid to go for these weird and wacky builds. We've seen him play a lot of Terran mech lately. He's been going for weird strats. This, for example, is a command center first, and you know, even though I think Clem is an absolute monster, probably the best Terran player on the planet overall, he's relatively predictable. He likes doing the same thing over and over and over again. Maru, though, is not afraid to mix it up, and I feel like going command center first in game number 1 of a series is already a pretty good example of exactly that. Just getting all of those, well, SCVs out nice and quickly, dropping the mules 2 at a time nice and early. It's a bit of a gamble. If you go up against the spawning pool first, you could be in a world of trouble. But really, what are the odds of Reynor going for a pool first against Terran? They're never quite 0, but I would probably put him in... Yeah, I would probably put him at less than 10%. Triple hatchery build right here from the Italian Zerg, who, by the way, is playing in the Basilisk Korean clan. As you can see, that I believe is his, well, account that he uses on the Korean server. Reynor's been spending a lot of time over in Korea, so I'm assuming, therefore, that there is not going to be any ping for either of these two players, because they will both be playing on the Asian server. SCV is here forced to run around for a little bit. Quite annoying for Maru. He does take a bit of a hit in potential lost mining time, but as long as you don't lose anything critical, it is all fine. He does kill 4 of those links, and obviously that means that usually Zerg will be forced to remake them just to not take any damage from any of these early game units. Still though, Zergling speed is already on the horizon, so I don't think the Reaper can stick around for all too long. He's likely going to be grouping up with his buddies in a sec. His buddies... there they are, the fire trucks. Or, well, they're like the opposite of the fire trucks. They even have fire on the side of it, dude. Do you think fire trucks in real life should have like little flames painted on the outside? Maybe in some countries they do. Over here in the Netherlands, they definitely don't. Sadly not. I think that's an absolute, it's a missed opportunity, really. Anyways, Overlord Scout is going to reveal the timing of the 3rd command center, and Reynor will be quite happy with that. Now, we do already have double gas inside of the natural expansion for the Terran, so I wonder if we're going to be seeing some additional factories planted down here in just a moment, because, well, Maru is already starting to stack up quite a bit of Vespene. He's started off here with some Hellion Banshee play, nothing out of the ordinary at all, but there's no second tech lab onto that barracks, and I think after this Overlord is gone, we're probably going to see some additional factories. A little bit of Terran mech to start the day off. Okay. Lair coming up right now for Reynor. Roach Warren also coming up for him. That's nice. Oh, look at this. Double armory? This is double armory before factory 2 and 3. This is a very greedy Terran mech build. Like, look at what the Terran actually has at this point. We're 5 minutes in. He's got 7 Hellions and a Banshee, and really not a lot of unit production at all. Hyperflight Rotors coming up right now as well after the cloaking upgrade. Now, quick little Spore Crawler morphs right there from Reynor are going to keep a lot of this around. He did pull the drones nice and early as well. Oh, transfusion onto a worker too, just to keep everything alive. So very clean defense here from our Zerg. But he has no clue about the switch into Terran mech just yet. Those factories are coming up. Maru will be pumping out what will likely be a bunch of siege tanks here momentarily, and at that point he will be reasonably safe. But look at this. We already have a 4th command center. So this is triple command center after a CC first, double armory, then finally additional factories, and then we go in straight into a 4th command center too. It is a greedy build, but I think he's gotten away with it. Right now, Reynor will see the timing of some of this. He will notice, okay, additional Hellion production. No combat shields on those Marines or anything along those lines. So even though he hasn't really seen the additional factories here, he will already know that this is 9 times out of 10 going to be a switch into mech. Armor coming up right now for the Carapace, right? For the ground units. And I guess at this point, there's not really a whole lot that Reynor can do about this anymore. Yeah, so his best odds are to drone up. Try to fight greed with greed. The Banshee hit squad going in. I still feel like Hyperflight Rotors is one of the most underused upgrades in the entire game. It's so cool. So that's the speed upgrade for the Banshees. These guys hit so freaking hard, man. They're nice. Yeah, even killing a gas geyser is good here. Doesn't even take that long. Do you think it's fair that, like, Banshees are... Even though they're played very frequently, I still kind of feel like they are an underrated unit. We definitely have not quite seen the bottom of it yet. I think there's more to be gained. Oh, look at that. They're going to be able to snipe a hatchery up north as well. At least delay it. Now, that is the 5th base of Reynor. He doesn't really need it that quickly. Instead, yeah, getting the gases going here at the 4th will be super nice. Blue Flame coming up here for Maru. Double upgrades already finishing. 7.5 minutes in. 4 command center Terran. It's 4 orbital commands as well. He doesn't even bother putting the planetary over here. Maru is so greedy, dude. And somehow he keeps getting away with it. Like, he can't keep getting away with this. Reynor could have gone for a lot of different pushes early game. Anything Roach-based, anything Zergling-based, anything Baneling-based would have been enough. Reynor could have gone for a Queen drop. He could have done many things to shut this down. But the problem is you're always dealing with limited amounts of information. And Maru is always mixing it up. So I don't believe we're going to be seeing this strategy again later on in this best of 5. And that's what makes Maru so scary. Zerglings here. Ooh, they would like to get the wraparound. Blue Flame is now done, but I don't think it really matters much. Nope. Nice cleanup right here by the Italian, who's now just about to finish up his hive as well, by the way. Like, we're 8.5 minutes in. We have had quite a lot of action out on the map, but this is still a very fast hive. Baneling Nest as well added into the mix. I guess we're gonna go maybe a Greater Spire, maybe an Ultra Cavern. We have a bunch of Vipers coming up. 2 additional starports as well inside of the main base right now for Maru, who already has begun any sort of, yeah, Thor production right now. He's making multiples of those. Sometimes the speed, man, it still surprises me. Like, this is a game that's only 9 minutes long, and both players are already occupying so much of the map. They've already got so much economy and army and upgrades done, right? It's kind of nuts. Very few losses, actually, on the side of Maru. Maru in this particular series still playing under the Fatality team name. It was actually just recently announced that they did leave the team. I believe he's back to on-site now, so pretty neat that there are still, you know, organizations out there that are actively supporting StarCraft 2. Sadly, Fatality taking a step away. Obviously a very large esports organization. Either way, he's still going to be representing them in this particular match. And Maru is going in for a banger of a unit comp, man. Look at this. He's basically maxed out. He's got all the economy in the world. Reynor, though, likewise has an insane amount of units. Zerglings come in and around the back. Blinding Clouds going down onto the siege tanks. He's absolutely reading this Terran player like a book. Reynor shuts this down and makes it look pretty easy, although now is apparently the time that the Banshees come swooping in. Queens are desperately trying to chase it. They will transfuse whatever they can hit. Most players would be happy if they had half the amount of supply that these guys seem to be able to get by minute 10. Right? If you had half the amount of upgrades, half the amount of command centers, you'd probably be happy. Now, what do you do, right? Here's a little quiz. What do you do when you have just lost your entire army? Make 3 more command centers. Yeah, that was the correct answer. Now, you probably thought remake the army. You do that as well, but you also make new command. You turtle up from there. That's what you do. Feels a little bit counterintuitive, but Maru knows that this is not a Zerg ready to go across the map just yet, so that means more greed. This will be on the test, by the way, so I hope you've been making notes, or you've been taking notes. The end of year test is going to be crazy. Ooh, blinding clouds. Oh, very juicy ones as well onto all of the Thors there. Still, though, not enough firepower here for this Zerg army. I think the Banshees are likely going to survive this, but yeah, their numbers are not being replenished. Zergling run by right now going in. Over in the natural, over in the main base, over at the third. Reynor trying to run around and distract this Terran player to the best of his abilities, but there's blue flame hellbats set up in many locations. At the very least, they're going to be good at roasting the links. What about this main fight over here in the middle? Okay. Maru's going to be able to push it away. Base in the upper left is now done. Base on the right side of the map is coming up already too. We have +3, and then +2, soon to be +3 as well. We have a triple Evo build here from Reynor. Like, that alone is already weird. But so much has happened in this game that I haven't even really been able to highlight it. But this man has been playing triple Evo. We've had 4 battles, and now we've had 3 Vos. What else do we got? One downside right here for Reynor, though, is that killing SCVs is always nice. But, is it important when your opponent has like a half dozen orbital commands? Or actually, that's... I was thinking that's an exaggeration, but how many does he have? No, he's got 7 of them. 7 orbital commands right now, 1 planetary fortress, more CCs added into the mix. Do you even really care right now as a Terran if you lose a couple dozen SCVs? You can just rebuild them. The harassment is never going to be free for the Zerg player either. Well, the hit squad of Banshees, even though maybe they haven't really been added any... Like, no new ones really have been added into the mix. Many of these have more than a dozen kills each. That's pretty sick. They did get repaired, and they did find a few more snipes there onto the Lings and the Banes. My god, he keeps going. Yeah, if you give Maru a chance, he will just take 80% of the map. Be it Bio, be it Terran. Look at this unit composition right now. Like, what are we witnessing? This is pure Hellbat Thor? He's trading them out so aggressively, though, that he can also swap them into something else. Like, if he loses the Thors, he can go back to Siege Tanks. If he loses the Banshees, he can, for example, add in more Cyclones. He's got upgrades for everything. He's got a lot of production structures, too. Yeah, Maru is just such a monster. Reynor's playing some really stellar StarCraft. You know what? I actually think this is an advantage here for the Zerg. Well, not for these Zerg links, specifically. But, he is doing it really nicely. But I feel like we've never really seen Terran get played like this, you know? At least in my mind, whenever we're talking about Terran mech, it's this very slow, very methodical approach. The type of army that you don't really do anything with until you're fully maxed. But Maru here is making it look like a very nimble unit comp. One that you can just, well, switch into and out of whenever you please. We've got ourselves a bunch of infestors now added into the mix. Those Banshees, by the way, are still around. 10 kills, 17 kills, 10 kills, 18. Yeah, they're not messing around. Very efficient. You know what? Maru agrees. He decides to add a couple more into the mix. Most of those kills have been Zerglings, Banes, and Drones, but there are some Ravagers, Queens, Spore Crawlers, and all the rest of it into the mix too. Banelings right now rolling into Hellbats. Keep in mind, though, that Banelings cost gas and Hellbats do not. Gas usually being the main bottleneck in the late game, so even though they're good at cleaning it up, Maru won't be all too unhappy about it. Oh, well, he will be unhappy about eating those biles. Blinding Clouds really disrupting the movement here of these big units. Man, I love Thors. They're one of my favorite units. But I also consider them to be like the absolute bottom tier for Terran. You know, like think about the worst Terran units. In my mind, they're also like... It's weird because like the worst Terran units in the game, in my mind, are probably the Battlecruiser and then the Thor. They're also my favorite units. Like as somebody who just really likes science fiction, I feel like big mechanical vehicles, big capital ships, you know, like those, just generally speaking, are always going to be my favorite. But Maru is more than happy to mix it in. And I did see a fusion core on the production tab earlier. Yeah, it's probably just going to be for Liberator range and all the rest of it. Admittedly, there are really no, like, quote-unquote weak units in StarCraft 2. Every unit has got its place. It's one of the great things about this game. Reynor's been very good, though, with the parabombs. Look at these infestors waiting off to the side. Oh, okay, sure. Reynor's so pissed off about him. He decides to now bring them over in this direction. And I think he's gonna stack them together to then corrosive bile. Yep. I mean, he's also binding some of his own troops. So you know what? This was clumsily done here by the Zerg. Takes a bit of a beating. Maru came in clutch there to try and save some of the ladies. That's where you know the Zerg has gotten a little bit upset, I think. So, how many did we kill? 5 of them in total. There are still 2 of them out. Alright. We're going into 4 additional Rexes now. These have to be for ghosts. It's the only thing that makes sense. So this is full Terran mech. Zerg actually decides to commit. Big blinding clouds going down. Wait a second. Reynor wants to go neural parasites as well. He does neural parasite a bunch of the Thors. Initially, they were underneath the, well, defense, I guess, of the cloud. So actually kind of hurting Reynor's performance there. That looked like an incredible engagement for the Zerg initially, but it didn't really work out that way. Planetary there helping out quite a bit. Those siege tanks already as an anchor in the back. Both players take a little bit of a nosedive, though, when it comes to the supply count. Yeah, the weird part is that Reynor threw down blinding clouds onto the Thors, and then he neuroparasited the Thors that were underneath the cloud. Obviously, cloud is considered neutral. It also benefits... Oh, that's another big one. Oh, Zerglings around the sides. Ravager Biles in the middle, baby. That's hot. You know, it blows my mind sometimes how we are so many years into competitive StarCraft 2. Like, this game has been around for 16 years now. And somehow the players are still getting better. Like, how in the world are you still improving? How are we still seeing plays that were just unheard of a few years ago? These Zerglings are going to be more than enough. They're fully upgraded. Yeah, there needs to be a bit of a Terran army here. Not in time, though. The Liberator switch is coming up, but they're a bit slow. Ravagers, in the meantime, together with Roaches and Lings, moving down towards that 6 o'clock spot. And what was looking like an extremely dominant game from Maru may have just tipped in favor here of the Italian Zerg, who really just, well, he bought his time until it was the perfect moment to strike. Those Banshees, though, have been a thorn in his side. He's just hoping for some lucky corrosive biles to permanently shut them down. This is going to force Maru to now be a little bit slower. He has repositioned the orbital command from the natural expansion, moved it up a little bit further north. You can see that those SCVs are likely going to have to be re-rallied as well onto the fresh mineral line. Zerg, in the meantime, taking all of the bases in the upper left. The problem here for Maru is that he does not have a lot of minerals. So he's got 11 orbital commands. I would not mind just seeing a minute or two of 100% muling. Yeah, I just mule it all down. Get that money up. Because if Zerg commits right now, you need to be able to remax. Reynor doesn't know, but right now would be a perfect time for him to strike. He was waiting for just a moment to get his, units together yet again. Fully upgraded Lynx, still putting in the work. Greater Spire right now coming up as well, but we have another big engagement. Those Thors, man, they just keep getting blinded. So to clarify, Blinding Cloud is neutral in the sense that the Zerg units will also be affected by it. Now, obviously, Reynor is targeting where he wants those things to go down. But if he has ranged units underneath the cloud, they would also be reduced to 1 range. That's why even when you neural Parasite or Thor that's underneath the cloud, and the cloud is technically thrown there by the Zerg, it isn't suddenly going to be within range of things again. Maru now going for the mech siege army, and he's got a lot of those ghosts out as well. Ghosts with snipe are going to be phenomenal. They're obviously also going to be nice with EMPs onto, like, say, the infestors or even the vipers. All of it is a very valid target. Siege tank goes down, banelings roll through, loads of SCVs will die. In the meantime, we have orbital commands being targeted as well by pure Zergling. Reynor trying to see if he can gobble up all of those Terran structures from the inside out, playing some fantastic SC2, reinforcing it with 72 additional links. Resources lost-wise, this has actually been a very reasonable game for Zerg. He has lost more than the Terran. Not really, though, the goal here. Zerglings, oh, yet again, man. They really are by far the best Zerg unit in this game. The corrosive biles, the infestors, all of it has been fancy. But it's these little guys that are really stealing the show. 25 minerals each, they're practically free. I can't help but say, by the way, that, like, this game seemed better for Maru when he still had the Banshees flying around. Ever since the Banshees have gone down, we've had so much more movement here from the Zerg. Clearly, yeah, he was preoccupied trying to just stay alive. SCVs did run away from that mineral line, but they're here to save the planetary for a moment, and it's not going to live for very long. Reynor will have to back up. Doesn't have enough links remaining in this area anymore. +2/+2 coming up here for the ghosts alone for Maru. He's just getting all of the stuff. Reynor slowly transitioning towards what can be a proper late-game army in the form of Brute Lords and Infestors, but he's gonna need a load of upgrades from those Spires for this to really be worthwhile. I wouldn't mind seeing a second Spire go down, just to make that switch a lot easier. It's gonna take forever to actually finish it up on just 1 Spire, and he certainly has the resources for it. Maru, though, still making himself look really big and intimidating. And truthfully, with 26 SCVs and this Terran player now being maxed out, his army is massive. The problem is, he can't replenish it. And rarely do we see Terran, well, 23 minutes into the game, with no money in the bank. You need to have some cash. That's what he's aiming for, I suppose. He does have a lot of orbital commands, still 10 of them remain. So taking this base over here is really good. I don't think Zerg can really push into it. He may very well try, but it's risky. It's a gigantic Terran army. This is Maru's lifeline, though. Like, he needs these minerals. If he doesn't mine these minerals, it's probably game over. So if Reynor can shut this down, that would be absolutely massive. Honestly, I think it's worth it just to give it a shot here for the Zerg, no matter the cost. It's risky, though. Look at this army, man. It's not going to be one that will easily break. Zergling run by instead. It's a lot of siege tanks, though. Like shooting fish in a barrel. Links do try to go through. Not a lot of spellcasters, though, for the Zerg in his area. Corrosive Biles are really effective. But his Terran army is just so bloody massive that he shuts it down and goes in for the counter immediately. Man, we should really be mining this, Maru. We've had this base for like a minute, dude. Where are we dropping those mules? Are we even dropping any of them? Maru's basically just not mining. That's so risky for him. The ghosts right now, ooh, they have to run away from the banelings. More and more blinding clouds, more and more snipes as well, though. Big Daddy Thor will stay alive. A couple of auto turrets for good measure. That is a base gone. The income advantage has been an absolute roller coaster, but Reynor has been ahead in that regard for quite a long time. Maru may have just secured, though. With this positioning over here, yeah, the bottom right-hand corner. This base is still untouched. The mineral line up here has been mined by the Zerg, so these minerals will smell like Zergling. It's kind of disgusting. It's a cheesy... That's not a good thing, but anyways, they're better than no minerals, right? Like, some money is better than no money. Links are going in around the back. I'm assuming we will go planetary here, but this is Maru we're talking about, so you never really know for certain. Here's the Brute Lord transition coming up for Reynor, but keep in mind that these are Brute Lords without any armor upgrades. And these are fully maxed out Thors. Thors in high impact mode, so Thors have 2 attack styles. By default, they spawn with splash damage missile. When it looks like this, when they have these little shields, I guess, on the top of them, they're set up to high impact mode, which is single target damage instead. It gives them, well, single target damage output, so really good against Brute Lords. But maybe more importantly, they also get an additional range. Really, really handy against those Brutes, because the regular Javelin missiles, well, it's really useful against, like, Mutalisks or other clumped up units. Not ideal at all against Brutes, because you just can't reach them. If we have a bunch of, I don't know, like, fire bats. If we have a bunch of Hellbats in front of the Thors to roast the Brutelings, and then stutter step the Thors forward in the direction of the Brutes, they can very quickly take them down. Now, Thors versus Brute Lords, it is a dynamic that is honestly not explored very much yet on the current patch. So, in the past, Brute Lords absolutely thrashed Thors. Blizzard changed it, gave the Thors additional range, and suddenly Thors started thrashing Brute Lords. However, since the most recent balance patch, the Brute Lords are slower, but they also deal significantly more damage. So I'm not entirely sure how it works out. Obviously, if we get some neural parasites as well, that would change the dynamic very rapidly. That's, though, why we have those ravens up in the air and why the ghosts are on the ground to try and EMP it. Zergling run by right now, though. Reynor mostly threatening to move into the left. Turned out to be just fake, and that does shut down a lot of mining. Zerg did take this expansion over here. Barra bombs super useful. Reynor is ready to go and fight it. What about this little push over here? Is there enough Zerg to kill this command center? I don't believe so with those reinforcing Terran troops coming in, but that is an additional 21 SCVs dying. Maru remaking 9 SCVs at a time. We are now going to... Yeah, we're now getting to the point where apparently my interface bugs out. We've got triple digits replaced by 4 digits here. So more than 1,000 lings have died, and it starts looking a little bit clumsy here on the unit's loss screen. Apparently, whoever made, this particular UI never intended for more than 1,000 units dying of a singular type. That's when you know you're dealing with an epic game. The guys over at Blizzard never considered that as a possibility. More brutes coming. Man, I think Reynor really missed out, though, on the upgrades here. Like, he still does not have any armor upgrades. Likewise, we do need a couple more for the Terran player. I think especially the Liberators could use their +3 attack. But I don't think that's as big a problem, because the Liberators are a support unit, whereas the Brutes are like the main damage dealers here of Reynor's army. Okay. Maru securing this bottom right is massive, though. The fact that he actually has a bit of mining again is huge. He was up with his back against the wall, but it turns out he's got a huge back. There's finally these upgrades coming up that I was talking about. Ghosts actually do benefit quite a lot from these basic attacks. It's not really why they're here. They're mostly here as like a spellcaster, but they're still putting in some work. Honestly, it comes down, yes, to the Brute Lords and the Thors, but the spellcasters are really going to make or break the deal. If Neural Parasites connect with Thors, if Neural Parasite connect with Ghosts, if the Ghosts connect, though, with EMPs onto the spellcasters of the Zerg, like, there's a lot of variables here that are very difficult to compare. So, let's see, though. The Brute Lord numbers are massive. We have 18 of them. Reynor wants to go in. He wants to throw the little Brutelings. Yeah, he needs to hit something, right? Like, he wants to see where he can go. Maru slowly tightening the noose on this hatchery, it looks like. Reynor again, though, sending reinforcements on over towards the right side of the map. So it's the spellcasters together with the Brutes over here, and then the more mobile army on the other side of the map. They will be swooping in once more. Maru already anticipating this exact play. Cloak gets activated onto the Ghosts. There are a bunch of Overseers nearby, but SCVs will certainly get blown to pieces. An additional 17 end up falling. This time around, though, Maru decides to rapid fire out a bunch of mules. Yeah, I wonder if we should have done that a bit ago. Hatchery on the left dies. Yes, all the SCVs may have fallen. But honestly, even though we have nearly lost 100 of those bad boys, I don't mind this spot very much for Maru. I think his army is better in a straight-up fight. And I think his economy is good enough. Reynor, though, keeps collapsing on top of it. He will go to triple digits worth of SCV kills right now, too. Keep in mind that this is, by the way, game number 1 of a best-of-5 series. We're a half hour into this already. And it's very clear to me that neither of these two is going to go down without a fight. Absolute banger. The fact that Maru, though, is alive. He's not even just alive. I think he's thriving. After basically being stuck in his opening quadrant, the fact that he got this base up and running and then this base in the bottom right is massive. Reynor's been distracted by that expansion on the left for far too long. I actually wonder if he should have just let this hatchery over here slide and focus on denying the bases on the right corner instead. Because, yeah, he got this base going for a little bit, right? But in the meantime, Maru secured 2 full mineral lines. And then Maru simultaneously also killed his hatchery again. I don't think it's great. I don't think it was ideal. Brute Lords now, this time around, have moved on over to the right. Not a lot of creep, though, in this area, and plenty of scans available. The banks are near identical for the players at this point in time. Maru is basically inviting Zerg to come and join him. Come and join me off creep. See how it goes for you. The Brute Lord numbers are still growing. We're up to 21 of those bad boys. A whole lot of fire bats, as a wise man once called them. A whole lot of, well, hell bats? Sure, added into the mix. He's making them out of the factories right now, which is kind of ironic. You don't usually see that all too frequently. Lots of Zerglings, though, and a couple of Ravagers end up getting roasted. The Brute Lords will certainly make quick work of these units. But now, yeah, with the very slow Brute Lords moving all the way on the left side of the map, Maru is using this as an opportunity to move forward with his main army. Reynor's still chasing this, and I honestly think... Look, the execution from Reynor has been excellent, the macro has been great, the micro has been good, but I believe that Maru is out-strategizing him. Maru's movement just seems to be a little bit better. Over these last 10 minutes, Maru has certainly been winning the strategic part of the late game, out-positioning the Zerg very heavily. This is where the hive is located, by the way. Killing it would mean that there's no more potential Viper control. Like, no more, well, Viper control, no more Viper production. He kills the hatchery here, too, that Reynor's been trying to get up and running for all this time. Couple of snipies. Yep. Pew, 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 pew. Funkles will land. And that will be quite a few dead ghosts as well. Ghosts may be small, but they are expensive. In the meantime, we do have a ton of Lings running around. For what it's worth, by the way, the lack of the final armor upgrade does not matter against ghosts. Ghosts will deal flat damage with their snipe ability onto the Brute Lords, no matter the armor upgrade. And now suddenly, Maru has got Thors in the main base. Roaches, Ravagers, and Lynx trying to go in for the counterattack. But look right now, down to the bottom of your screens. Maru is leading this game. He has got more money in the bank. And Reynor is fizzling out. His only potential mining base just got killed. There's still a little bit of money coming in. But honestly, I don't think it's going to be enough. All of these mineral lines have been... yeah, they've got more potential in them for the Terran player. He's also now taken some of these mineral fields that were previously mined here by the Zerg for his own. And right now, it's Maru who's gobbling up more than half the map's resources, right? Like, that's been the late game goal of Reynor this entire time. Sure, you may not take the best trades, but if you mine more than 50% of the map, Terran will likely fall eventually. Maru's been taking cost-effective trades. He's had phenomenal upgrades. His positioning has been on point. His micro has been pretty much flawless. His macro has been perfect. And now he's mining 50% of the map out. What is the out? What is the out for Reynor? Honestly, at this point, I think the best chance for Reynor is Maru taking a terrible fight. If somehow, some way, he can get the neural parasites onto those units. Ah, there's that Raven, man. This Raven has been with the army for ages. That was the other one. There must have been the same Raven that also threw down an auto turret a long time ago. Yeah, remember the auto turret? It's the same one. This guy is seeing the burrowed units from a mile away. Throws in a casual anti-armor missile too. But it's preventing Reynor from being able to sneak up with the infestors. At this point, I think Reynor's very best chance is to hope that Terran makes a tremendous error. But that is not what Maru is known for. Maru is saving himself a scan. I'm sure he's got plenty of those available with 12 orbitals. This one is even maxed out on energy. Yeah, he can basically just keep scanning and disable the fog of war for a long time to come. Now, Reynor does have one fight in him, though. And this is a super scary Zerg army. Positioning will matter. Keep in mind, of course, that these Zerg flying units don't really care about the location very much. If the Terran troops get stuck on a ramp or in a choke point or something like that, it's a bit of a disaster for him. Right now, though, Maru is just fishing for free kills. If you're tuning in just now for the first time, Zerg did not spawn in the upper left-hand corner of the map, although it kind of looks like it. This is not a map that's top left to bottom right. Liberators trying to get a choke onto this base as well, and they will successfully get that job done. Big EMP. All right. Removing some of the energy. Gets the full energy on the infestor sniped as well. Yeah, Maru may just be a little bit too good at the game, guys. Super expensive army, though, for Reynor. Nearly 9,000 gas, and this is apparently the moment that he decides to pull the trigger. Man, those infestors are just not able to close the distance very well. We do see some nice blinding clouds, though. The Thors are gunning away at whatever they can hit, and the Brute Lord count is high enough. We do have another fungal being thrown through all of this, but I think it's more than good enough for the Terran. Game number 2. We find ourselves on the map Winter Madness. I'm still not quite over the fact that Maru actually managed to clutch it. Isn't that crazy? At minute 20 or so, it really seemed like Maru was slowly fizzling out. And I think he realized it too. He realized he needed to make a play. The key right there was him reducing his SCV count temporarily for quite a while, as we have some Zerglings running around here. Oh, this is annoying for Reynor, or for Maru rather. Annoying by Reynor. So in that previous game, we saw Maru initially going up to about 80 workers. He lost a whole lot of them along the way and slowly replaced them until he realized, okay, I need to start making a move out onto the map to be able to take that bottom right-hand corner. And he set on I think 25 SCVs for quite a while. When he had that section of the map secured, he lost a couple of Hellions, then he replaced them with additional SCVs again. I don't know if that was intentional, but oftentimes the issue you run into is that you just have a really hard time defending your left side flank, at least on that previous map, defending the left side flank while trying to take the bottom right corner. You just don't have enough units to really get that done. But once you have the positioning up and running, right? You have all of the static defense, the planetary, you have your liberators and your siege tanks in position, then you can start dedicating some additional supply to workers again. So I wonder if that was Maru intentionally lowering his worker count to try and, you know, use that to his advantage. Because I think it was exactly what he needed. Reynor opening up here with a much faster spawning pool, getting a little bit of work done, but not really killing that much. He did delay the Terran for a while, though, and obviously one of the downsides here for the Terran is that you have that Reaper opener, but it also means that you put on a lot of pressure, but you don't really get a ton of early game economy with this. Ooh, Brenda's on the run. He does cut off the retreat path, but nice grenading. Okay. Somehow, some way, the full HP Reaper died, and then the two that were originally the ones getting chased, they end up being the ones that escape. Cute move right there by the Terran. Now his natural expansion, though, needs to be protected by Jimmy and the boys. We have Jimmy. We have Jim. We have Jimothy. James. I need more names for the Jimmies. What other alternatives can you make with the name Jim? Jimathan? Jarnathan? Jimantha? Jimbo? Jerry? Jimfrey? Jimfreud? Jimbalaya? Anyways, the Jimmies are waiting in the natural expansion for the Zerg to come in for a counterattack. Sometimes people ask me what I do for a living. Please just send them those 10 seconds. It will explain everything. It's all they need to know. Hey, by the way, what are we going for? Are we going Terran mech again? Wait a second. All right. Strap in, boys. We're gonna be here for a while. The Jimmies are fake. Wait, are they? He is going for a very quick second factory here and then a very quick armory too. There is a single engineering bay, but this is a confused Terran, man. This is both Terran mech and Terran bio at the same time. Like, bro has got Stimpak, but he doesn't research combat shields. Like, if this was a viewer-submitted game, I would be shouting about how bad this build order is. Instead, we're looking at the most successful Terran player of all time, so I'm gonna let it slide. But just know that I have double standards, okay? What? There's a second entry bay coming up. Drilling claws as well. Are we just going... Alright, we're just playing bio. We're just playing bio with Mass Widow Mine. Little Zergling group, though, putting in quite a bit of work. Oh, that siege tank! Bro, that siege tank did more damage than the Lynx did, I'm pretty sure. That is so much damage done by the Zerg player. Maybe Maru can get some counter damage done, but no. Hey, I hope you're real proud of yourself, buddy. 17 kills. Pretty sure about 12 of those were your friends. Oh, well. I guess it happens. Double expo right here for Reynor. Reynor having a flying start in this particular game. Also because this Terran build order seems a little bit confused. Reynor's going double upgrades with Ling Bane. Straight Infestation Pit 2, so probably going into Ultralisks here eventually. Man, he's going for an attempted Widowmine drop with Drilling Claws. Maru, this is not Terran versus Protoss, okay? Can somebody explain to Maru that Terran is usually supposed to play slightly differently against Zerg than they do against Protoss? Does he not know? Well, Drilling Claws is a really nice upgrade, though. But the problem is, right, even if you kill a dozen workers at this point, it's really, like, it's annoying, obviously, but Widowmines are not cheap. And it's just all... Yeah, it's just slow going, right? It just takes forever to get this up and running. So, by the time you get across the map, sure, you can kill a bunch of workers, but you're likely gonna lose the Widowmines, and Zerg can easily replenish them. That was quick. I don't know if that was intentional. Another Widowmine drop going in. Wait a second. Do you think Maru is, bear with me here. Do you think Maru is playing this game for fun? Do you think he's just having, like, is he trying to, is he having fun? Look at it. It's relentless. It's like the only mech unit he didn't make in the previous game, but he's making up for it now. Okay, you know what? I think a dozen workers is okay. Now we're up to 2 dozen. I had somebody asking in the YouTube comment section the other day what I meant with a dozen. Am I, that's, everybody knows what a dozen is, right? I did also recently learn, apparently, that some folks can't read analog clocks. I I think the person that asked what a dozen is probably also cannot read a regular clock. I mean, yeah. Who doesn't? Badoomts. Anyways. Hydraling Bane. Viper's coming up as well here for Reynor. And we do have a whole load of additional barracks inside of the main base here of Maru. So this is him just really making an insane amount of Widow Mines, putting in a lot of damage with them, but then also losing loads of them in the process. Like, this is obnoxious to play against, but I'm honestly not sure if it's that great. Let's look at the actual losses, right? So we've had 20 Widow Mines, 5 medevacs, and then 31 drones. I don't think that's worthwhile for the Terran. Unless you're trying to have fun. I mean, it is a lot of fun to do this sort of thing, I'm sure. But, you know, he's just going. He just keeps running. The amount of gas you end up losing, though, with this is kind of ridiculous. Reynor is now over-droning, anticipating he's going to lose some of them. I guess, though, this is releasing all pressure on the other side of the map. Like, if Maru was thinking about, well, being attacked himself, I don't think he has to be worried about it anymore. This is, by the way, factory number 3 coming up. Factory number 3? Now 3 CCs as well? Very odd strategy here from Maru in general. The ways in which he's getting here are off the beaten path. Like, roughly speaking, if you zoom out, it will look like a normal Terran follow-up, which is okay. But the details here are very different than the established standard. Man, an additional 13 drones end up falling, though. So much damage being done. Bunch of them over here. Bunch of them as well on the other mineral line. In the meantime, we have the Terran trying to sneak out another base. Maru has very strong main character syndrome, right? Like or very, very strong main character energy, I guess I should say. He really does look like Mr. Terran. He's him. This is the Terran. He can do whatever he pleases and still make it work. When Blizzard wrote about Terran for the very first time, they were thinking of Maru. Even though there's a chance that Maru wasn't even born yet. Because I think Maru was born in like 1998, and that's when StarCraft 1 came out. Anyways. Science fiction, I guess, makes everything possible. Nah, but seriously. Phenomenal style here for Maru. Even though I don't think it's all too efficient, the fact that he's willing to bring this out is really cool. This is, by the way, from a $10,000 tournament, so this is not Maru just having a bit of a giggle in a weekly cup. This is a serious event with serious money on the line. Here we go again. Blinding Cloud onto the planetary fortress, onto the siege tank as well. I think after a game like this, Maru is allowed to rename himself to Jim. Like, he can be James. Jimothy. Whatever he likes, really. Like, any of the names that I got to previously. Like, he can choose any of them. He is Jim Terran. Not a very Korean name. Let me actually look up what Maru's actual name is. Is it close to the name Jim? Cho Seong-yu. No. But there's a J in his name. At least, you know, in our alphabet. So it's closer than mine. My name doesn't have a J in it. Actually, my last name does. Never mind. I could be Jimmy too. If only I was good at StarCraft. Double upgrades, by the way, here for the mech units. So I wonder if this is actually still going to be a transition to mech eventually. Hydraling Bane is putting in quite a bit of work. Another Blinding Cloud, though, onto the planetary, and that will be another command center that says goodnight. 17 SCVs die. Maru's like, bro, I had to work so hard for 17 drone kills. That took me like 7 medevacs. You just run in here and killed him in what, like 2 seconds? We do have to repair this, Maru. Oh, no. Well, it's kind of a sad moment here. Oh, damn. He got it done. He got it done. Don't worry about it. Cool guys are not afraid. We do have a little hit squad over here of burrowed banelings. Another factory or two coming up. This is actually a transition to mech. Like, we are going to ghost mech yet again. The way in which Maru is getting there is wildly different. And I wonder if this transition here is going to be problematic for him because it's slow, right? And Zerg is just gonna have free reign out onto the map for a while because of it. Reynor over here using it to his advantage. But the command center count is now being followed up with a high factory count. And like I said, we already had double armory going for a while. So last game we went straight to mech, into ghosts, and we ended up with ghost mech. This time around we started off with bio, went into widow mines, went into ghosts, and now we're going into mech. So we end up with ghost mech. Like, the path we're taking is different, but the end result may just be the same. Tactical nuke on the production tab too. I don't think there's enough right here for Zerg though, is there? Banelings are trying their best, but Cloak gets activated onto those troops. Bunch of the Jimmies do end up falling on the right side. We have a little hit squad down at the bottom, but Planetaria will be able to take care of it for now. Not a lot of mining going on. High-sec auto tracking. Building armor. Yeah, Maru is actually just an absolute beast. Seriously. What a god gamer. Sure, of course he sees it. Of course. What did I even think? Why did I think that maybe his units would walk into that? Of course, no. We're not gonna do something so noobish as that. Of course he was gonna repair the orbital command. Of course it wasn't gonna burn down. We have another Zergling group though on the right side, and these were annoying in the previous game too. Reynor's signature move for like a decade now, it is those Zergling groups, and he still may be able to just overwhelm the Terran with it. He's got the bigger bank yet again, he's got the better army yet again, and he's gonna be able to run circles around all of these units for times to come. Like, this is extremely difficult here for the Terran to break out of. He's gonna be able to kill a hatchery over here, it looks like, maybe eventually. The problem is he's also losing a ton of workers at home. And creativity is nice, but the standard is the standard for a reason. Reynor is going for a tried and true build. Maru going for something that is a little bit off the beaten path, and while I think he's gonna be able to snipe this hatch, Reynor is in a... Oh, we have a couple of units burrowed over here. Reynor is in a much better spot. The base over here at the bottom, though. Yeah, this is juicy. Rapid fire. Onto every single one of the mineral fields. For some reason, the one over here on the left doesn't get a mule. Oh, we have two over here on the right. Ugh. Look away. In the meantime, we have some mules as well on the right side. It's keeping Maru in the game. 66 workers though, right? Like, it's making it difficult for him to cover all of his bases. In the previous match, we saw him reducing the worker count at this point in time. Like, he just simply didn't replace them for a while. I wonder if that is what he's going to do yet again. Oh, that was the Baneling detonating there. Ghosts have enough HP, though, for that not to really be much of a problem. Hydraling Bane tries to break through this yet again. The siege tanks will be blown to bits. Orbital Command has to fly away. Maru's still maxed out, but I don't love this position for him. Far bottom left-hand corner now taken as well by Reynor. He is becoming neighbors with Mr. James himself. He's him! He's him! It's what the whole neighborhood shouts whenever Maru opens his front door. But then in Korean. I don't know how they... I have no idea. Infestor sharking around the right side. There is no detection over here, so this could be absolutely massive. Wait a second. If somehow, some way, we can see a fungal growth here, that is a massive set of fungal growths. Oi, 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 oi. It looks like the Zerg can just barely not close the distance fast enough. And while I think many Zergs around the world will have to get some clean underwear after that particular play, I hate to inform you all that it didn't actually do much. Yeah, I'm sorry. That was, it was hot. It was spicy. It was exciting. Maybe slightly arousing for some. But, yeah, it didn't actually do anything. The Infestor just kind of died and the Ghost ran away. Now this hatchery in the bottom left-hand corner is going to be next. Reynor, though, has got his sights set on new targets on the right side. More mules, more SCVs will die. Likewise, though, it looks like we are going to go into the double hatchery kill as well on the bottom left. Dude, and very similarly to the old Republic, this is a pocket in the far bottom left. Maru was kind of fizzling out of money here, right? But this little pocket over here has multiple mineral lines, and he is attempting to take all three of them right now. I don't believe this is as easy for the Terran to defend. Like, especially the one in the corner is not as reliable as the one on the Old Republic. Like, it's just a little bit closer across the board. But it is something to keep in mind here for the Zerg. Because if you give Terran 3 mineral lines, you may actually start losing the match again. This has all been going really well here for the Italian. I mean, if Maru can be Mr. Terran, I think Reynor at the bare minimum can be Mr. Zergling. This man's Patronus is definitely a Zergling. Ay, ay, ay. Ha! Snuck in a couple of units still around the side, got the final hit in. Maru is unable to go deep onto creep, though. It's not really something he can afford doing. Beautiful, though. Really, really solid StarCraft 2. Planetary Fortress now in the far bottom left. Very solid work. We have another Infestor. Careful, don't get within that circle. Missile turrets, of course, are detectors. There's another one over there. Fungal growth can change the course of the game very quickly. And here we go again. Yep, Reynor throws down a blinding cloud. Fungal growth will be thrown onto the Ghost yet again. And this time around, it does connect. Beautiful moves right here by the Zerg. He's going to be able to shut down this bottom left-hand corner. And with it, I think he's going to shut down the chances for Maru in the game. Maru has very little mining. This base should be next, though. Reynor may just need to go back here to, well, maybe not lick his wounds, but just to, like, reinforce this army. Because this base in the bottom left-hand corner needs to be next. Maru knows it. He knows that this time over here is limited. He needs to grab whatever he can. Probably send all of the units in this direction, too. Here we go again. Another Infestor taking up a position. New Banelings are being morphed in. Loads of them. Hydroling Bane is reinforcing all of it. And Reynor is going to try and take another base down. This one should be very quick. Infestor does get sniped over here on the right side of this engagement. But I think Reynor can go in, snipe the planetary, go out. Yeah. Loads of SCVs die. Planetary falls as well. You back up. Perfect. I think that's the perfect fight. What is Maru going to do? He doesn't have a base over here anymore. All of these mineral lines are drying up. There's still a bit of money coming in from this one over here. Still a little bit over here too. But this is a Terran player who's on his last legs. And he just doesn't have a lot of stuff anymore. Reynor has a lot more mining. Just across the board. He's not even bothered taking this rich Vespene gas geyser. He wants to go in for a move yet again. This may just be the killing blow. Hydroling Bane is sailing in. The ghost numbers, though, are still high. This is an engagement deep off of creep. Yeah, and that's a very efficient fight for Terran. Don't underestimate the fight here with the Jimmies, man. That was expensive for the Zerg. Reynor can still replenish this, but he really cannot afford doing that too frequently. He's lost 12,000 minerals more. Yeah, a little bit more gas lost right here on the side of the Terran. Okay. Not too bad. Reynor, by the way, not switching into any sort of like Ultralisks this time around. No Brute Lords either. We're not messing around with any sort of Lurker play. No Overlord drops. No Nidus Worm. This is just pure Hydraling Bane with some Spellcasters for support. The Zerglings really have been working their magic. Yeah, we're going up to 4 digits worth of Deadlings again. Back-to-back games where... Oh, hey, look, Lurker Den coming up right now to get over the Nidus Worm. I was just thinking about it. We may need something a little bit more sustainable in the late game. But Reynor, in a way, is kind of like creating a contain on this Terran economy. Maru, though, is doing a good job again, right? Like, notice how his worker count is low. He's not replenishing the lost workers. Instead, he's trying to max out and just get a gigantic army going, which is what he needs to ultimately secure his bases and then also take the bottom left-hand corner again. This is a good Terran army, by the way, against Lurkers. Like, we have Liberators. We already have 11 Ghosts. Even if suddenly a dozen Lurkers show up, it doesn't matter much. Blinding Cloud yet again. Marauders in the front do get surrounded. Another big fungal growth onto the Ghosty Marines, and then also some of the Marauders. This base is going to disappear yet again. Still, Maru's supply count is big. The sheer fact that he has 50 supply more available for army alone is what is keeping him in this game. It's not a great long-term plan, but Reynor has got 84 of his maximum 200 supply dedicated to drones. Maru has 31. So as far as the army size goes, even though his economy has been down the gutter for a while, he's still able to get a bigger army out than the Zerg. Those mules are allowing him a artificial economy, right? Like one that is still reasonably good. I don't know if it's a great long-term plan. He may need to. Yeah, look, he does it again, just like in the previous game. He starts adding SCVs in the mix again. So when he believes that this area may be somewhat secure, that's when he makes a bunch of units again that can actually mine. I think it's brilliant. We haven't really seen this before. This base was mined by the Terran about 4 times over. Now apparently it's going to be the Zerg taking the final scraps. Greater Spire coming up too, by the way, here for Reynor. So he's going to have multiple sources of siege damage. Lurkers pop out. And this is super annoying, though, I will say here, for Maru. He is not prepared to deal with this sort of stuff right now in the main base. It's the first time he has to deal with Nidus Worms, and now it's going to be a new unit as well that he hasn't played against yet in this match. If the Ghost cycle towards the main base, which seems to be what is the case right now, then Hydraling Bane might be able to make the move over here on the left side. Maru is forced to evacuate the main base out of here. Okay, absolute disaster right here for Terran. One of the big problems for Terran is that this is also extremely APM intensive. So, like, it's annoying. Like, maybe you can clean it up if you spend enough attention, but it takes forever to actually get all of this up and running again. As a matter of fact, I don't know if he's ever going to be able to get it up and running because all those bases are gone. In the meantime, Hydraling Bane makes the move towards the bottom left-hand corner. Stim activated, though, by Maru, who's trying to run it over in this direction. Obviously, he does have the Planetary Fortress nearby. Planetary, though, will go down in just a moment again, and 13 SCVs bite the dust as well. Reynor doesn't have any gas anymore. That was expensive. He can replenish this with a lot of links, but gas right now is his main bottleneck. He has started up this rich Vespian gas geyser over here. He will definitely have to take a few more of these gases. He's got minerals, but nothing else. Still, Zerglings have been the backbone of his army. And I don't think Reynor's too upset about needing to add on more of those bad boys. But he does need a little bit of gas. Maru's gonna make another move for it. And look at this. This is the old main base. Turning Maru into a nomadic species over here. I'm starting to get nerd chills. He's using the barracks right now as a wall to make it pretty much impossible for Zerg to break through that location yet again. Some tactical positioning here. Really making it difficult for Zerg to break through. He is going to try and just go for the full frontal assault instead, though. Reynor knows that this is risky. Now with those infestors those lurkers out of the main base, he knows that the ghosts are likely going to be occupying the bottom left-hand corner again, and he knows, Maru that indeed that is a very likely chance. Maru decides to run back, though. He believed that that push over at the front was just a distraction. There are now big packs of Lings running all the way around. Ghost Academy in the corner of the main base will also get sniped. That's certainly something that Reynor needs to do. Reynor now is thinking about, okay, if you're having your entire army in the bottom left, how about I move into your third base? Scan over here reveals, though, the positioning here of the Zerg units. Is this going to allow Maru to actually defend against this? Reynor decides to back off here for just a moment. Takes additional gases right now in the corners. Reynor doesn't yet know about the wall, but he's going to find out about it right here. Well, you know what? The wall is very efficient at keeping the Zerg out. Stim get activated on all of those units, even though Reynor wasn't planning on committing. Infestors added into the mix right now again, too, for Reynor. Now that he's getting a bit of gas income yet again. But you know what? Maru actually has the bases. Like these, right over here, are the final, mostly untouched mineral lines of the game. Hold up right now, actually. Reynor has been leading this game for like the first 30 minutes of it. But if we zoom out and we think about this, is this a bad position for Maru? Maru has effectively now taken, if he mines all of this out, I think he's taken about 45% of the total map's resources, mostly because this over here is shared. The cost efficiency will more than make up for it. All Maru needs to do is sit. Oh, I'm starting to get nerd chills all over, dude. Maru had a phenomenal comeback in the previous game. This one feels more of a comeback than the previous one, I suppose, but Fungal. There's no reason for Maru to be here, man. This is risky for him. This may actually be an overextension for him as well. Loads of expensive units here for the Terran will end up going down, and it's not the end of it just yet. The Hydralisks lunge forward, and well, Reynor decides not to chase the ghosts. That was expensive. Supply count right here for Maru takes an absolute nosedive. That was a mistake. He cannot really afford doing it. Maru now finds himself unable to re-max out. But you know what? He's got some minerals still coming in. For the first time in a bit, yeah, we see a bit of blue again on the income graph. That is not because Reynor has lost drones, but because he has no more mineral fields to mine. The main is out, natural is out, third base, fourth base, fifth base, sixth base, seventh base. We have a little bit of mining over here, and then a tiny bit of mining as well on those leftover scraps that the Terran previously held. Brute Lord's coming up again. 6 of those bad boys. This is a big indication that Reynor is making the transition to a sustainable army. He's been living very frivolously, spending money like he was never gonna run out. But suddenly he needs a bit of cash for retirement. The question is, did he save enough for retirement? Reynor was planning on only turning 69 years old, but it turns out he's almost 100. Unlucky. Or lucky. I don't know. Hard to say. He expected he would have finished the game by now. This is nice, though. Little hit squad over here of Brute Lords. What about the... well, Hellbats running away yet again. What about the siege tanks in the front? Is there enough Zerg to break through this all? I don't think so. I do not think so. Reynor's gonna have to back up. In the meantime, the ghosts are getting close, and judging by some of the bodies here on the floor, I think they got some good snipies off as well. Nice splits right here by Maru, though, pre-splitting his units. We do have another fungal growth being thrown down, but some snipes do eventually connect onto the Brute Lords. Transfuses, and we'll keep them alive! At least one of them, but that is a singular Brute Lord remaining, and the ghosts run away. There's still a little hit squad over here, though, and this is not a great exchange from Maru. Like, he keeps throwing units at the wall, right over here over at his old third base, but he may just have the numbers. He's done it. Ay, 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 Maru. He's him. Correction. He's Jim. He's him. He's Jim. This is Himmy. This is Jimmy. I don't know. We gotta work on it, but there is no denying that Maru, believe it or not, is very good at playing this little video game. Yeah. You can tell why he's one of the two names really in the running of, well, greatest StarCraft 2 player of all time. It's always really been between him and Cyril. Some people will argue that maybe Rogue has had a, you know, a reasonable claim for the title. But I feel like Maru and Cyril have this thing where even when they seem to be losing, you can never count them out. Like, there's this instinct to just keep fighting and fighting and fighting and somehow solving a very complex puzzle. And Maru did it again in that previous match, man. It really felt like he was in a horrible spot. And somehow, some way, we are now here, and it's a 2-0 lead in the series for our Terran. Now, admittedly, it has taken I think an hour and 15 minutes or so. Some exhausting games to play back to back. It's another skill, actually, that the top dogs in SC2 have. I mean, I highlighted this previously not too long ago, but if you've ever tried playing a singular ladder game in StarCraft 2, you probably know how mentally draining playing a match of SC2 truly is. Physically, you actually burn a ridiculous amount of calories as well, just sitting in your chair, you know, thinking. Thinking and pressing buttons. Now imagine you do that with a significant amount of potential money on the line as well, and you're playing in multiple series every single day. You know that in the meantime, whilst it's going on, there's many thousands of people watching, judging your every action, and then you have to play these long-ass macro games back to back. It is an entire, like, it's like running a marathon in a very similar, similar way, you know? Like, maybe everybody can kind of train to be comfortable running a marathon. I've never run one, I don't know. But maybe if you give everybody, like, if you give someone like 10 years and you tell them, okay, you're gonna train every single week between now and 10 years. You're gonna run a marathon in a decade, right? I guess most people can probably, with that type of time frame, pull it off. But there's no denying that this is certainly similar to that sense, because you need to practice for this sort of thing. You can't just sit down and you know, play like 5 best of 5s and then have banger after banger of macro game without completely falling apart by the time that the third match rolls around. It's so difficult to actually play matches like this. Maru, by the way, going for a little bit more Terran mech again. Maru does not care that these games have already gone the distance. He snipes the base over at the bottom, and now he goes back into Terran mech once more. Mentally, this also has to be a tough one for Reynor, though. Because he was leading both games. Like, he was leading both of those games, and then you end up losing it in the end. How tilting is that? How frustrating is it? Well, you know what? Those Banshees in the early game of game number 1, they were extremely useful. And Maru's bringing them back. Hyperflight rotors on the production tab once more. This time around, the timing of the double armory is a little bit more ordinary. In game number 1, he went like 4 command centers ridiculously quickly. He did get like up to 3 factories there, but super quick double upgrades. This over here is a lot more conventional for Maru. Does give him more unit production early on. Yeah, allows him to go for little plays like this. Evo chamber blocks here from Reynor are good, though. Creating little pockets where the Hellions can't reach. Oh, I'm a sucker for moves like this, too, man. It's so nice. I mean, the Hellions could go around the sides, but it's too risky. You never know when the Lings are going to show up. Okay. We do have a bit of variety, though. The reason that the armory upgrades are at a different time, the reason that the extra factories are at a different time too, is because this is a different approach from Terran. Yes, it's still mech. Yes, it can still lead to a similar path. But this is what we call battle mech. So this is Hellion Cyclone Banshee. It's a very mobile version of mech. Obviously, it's a quick transition to siege tanks and Thors if that's what you end up needing. But is this a little bit different? This is also a style that got nerfed in the most recent balance patch. That's why we haven't really been seeing it as much as of late. Still think it's pretty good, though. We've already seen this base dice once. Yeah, I guess we're gonna lose it again. Dude, Banshees. I'm telling you guys, Banshees are actually so sick. Now to just go back home. Absolute legends. Double command center out front yet again. And you know what? Even though we have... It's a little bit odd, right? Like, we have some Cyclone production. We have some Cyclone. We do have some Hellion production. We have a bunch of those Banshees up in the air. He got the lock-on upgrade as well for the Cyclones, but then he proceeded to only make 2 of them. And now he's going siege tanks again. I wonder if he... I mean, it has to be a mind game, I suppose. I wonder if he showed it to Reynor, and Raynor's like, oh no, battle mech. There's Cyclones out on the map. I'm gonna go double upgrades and deal with all of this. Now, nice surround over here by the Italian Zerg. That'll be the end of this little hit squad. Yep, Zergling's going in around the back. Banshee's going in again, though, after the Hellions disappear. Reynor here is countering battle mech, but he's not playing against battle mech. Not anymore. This is a siege tank follow-up, and a lot of them. So the Cyclones do visually change. They get this little, you see the little red LEDs right on the front? Those are the ones you get when you have the lock-on improvement upgrade. And usually, you only get that if you're planning on making loads of Cyclones, because the upgrade is not cheap, and it takes a while to get. I think Reynor must have seen it, transitioned to countering Cyclones, and now he is not playing against Cyclones at all. So it's going to be Roach, Hydra, Ling, Viper here for Reynor, which I don't think is a bad unit comp. It should work out quite nicely. Maru adding on an insane amount of command centers again. If it's up to Maru, we're just playing another 45-minute game. He loves this sort of thing. Guys, if you're a Terran player watching this, I'm telling you, we need to see more Banshee play. These have been phenomenal. That is now the 4th time that this base gets tonight. Seriously. These units are so good, man. Underutilized, for sure. We have not seen 100% optimization on Banshee play yet. Maru's bringing them out right now, and I love it. It may also be due to the fact, though, that Reynor is starting to feel a little bit tired. It's important not to get too autopilot-y whilst playing the game. Obviously, there's always a very significant bit of, like, muscle memory at play, right? Where it's not like they're actively thinking. Like, it's not like Reynor's thinking, I need to go inject my bases. Like, that will basically be automated. Not by an artificial intelligence, but by a biological intelligence. AKA a repetition over thousands of games. Look at Maru over here. He gets some creep tumors while going for the base again. Targeted them down as well, and he's still gonna get it. No? He doesn't commit. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, that'll be the end of them. Except for this one. Okay. Greater Spire on the production tab for Reynor. Now, every time the man's gone for Greater Spire so far in this series, it's been a loss like 10 minutes later. They give him a lot of sustain, but it doesn't really seem to really give him the firepower that he ultimately needs. He is now taking all of the bases out on the map, though. Finally, this hatchery down south is up and running. Double Nidus Worm as well right here for Reynor, together with a Lurker Den. Greater Spire. I mean, he's preparing for a late game yet again, too. Strap in, boys. We'll be here for a bit. I love the medevacs here. Nice for a bit of repositioning, maybe helping out the ghosts. Keep in mind, you can no longer abduct sieged up tanks. Oh, EMPs were good. Are the Hydra numbers good enough, though? I actually still think that's one of the dumbest changes they've ever made to the game, man. So Vipers can no longer abduct sieged up tanks. I don't know why. It's stupid. You know why? Serral's too good at the game, man. I'm pretty sure if Serral didn't play StarCraft 2, half the nerfs by at least the bare... Like, I think at least half the nerfs for Zerg over, like, the last 10 years would have not happened. Anyways, Link swoop into the main base. Little changelings are set up right over here, providing vision for the Nidus network. Man, Maru's making Terran look so freaking powerful. I love it. Fire bats here, as a wise man once called them. Out at the front lines, trying to deny the base. Another Nidus network all the way in the natural expansion, though, which feels like it's so far away. Triple upgrade again here for Reynor. Reynor's got all of the juice to make whatever army he wants. But the question is, what army do you actually want as a Zerg against this? Like, what unit composition do you play against Ghost Mech? This is a unit composition that doesn't really have any crazy weaknesses. I'm not so sure that there is a similar unit comp for Zerg. Reynor right now trying to see if he can maybe take a page out of Rogue's book. Rogue has been very fond of that mass overseer style. Reynor's gone up to 15 of those bad boys, and we obviously already have the double Nidus. Ooh, fungal growths, blinding clouds, all of it is strong. You know, one little change that they did make in the most recent balance patch of StarCraft 2 was change the Ghost from 3 supply to 2, and they gave him additional health as well. So they went up 25 HP. I really wonder, right? Like, if these games would have happened on the previous patch, I don't think Maru would have been able to win. Like, that alone, if you played the exact same style, but the Ghosts were 3 supply each, and they took less units for the Zerg to kill, I am fairly certain that Maru would not have been able to pull off a style like this. Now, obviously, he wouldn't have played this style. He would have gone for something a little bit different. But this is, I guess, a very good showing of how powerful the Ghost can be in the right hands, now that we got that, that upgraded version of it. Tactical nuke added into the mix right now for Maru. This hatchery over here in the upper left, well, it's never really been mined by the Zerg, and Maru is going to be able to shut it down. This hatchery down at the bottom, attempt number 69 for it. Reynor has now lost 4 hatcheries, and I think it's all over here. Counterattack. No planetary coming up in this area. Nidus Worm inside of the natural expansion, but the siege tank not quite in min-range. He's going to be able to shut it down. Maru, in the meantime, going in for a counterattack. Even though he's under so much pressure, there's Zerg units every which way he looks. He still decides to commit to a counter. Loses a command center in the process, but he does kill a hatchery as well. This planetary is good enough. Ling is left behind to, yep, pop down another one of those Nidus Worms. Double Nidus Worm this time around. There's a secondary siege tank in the main base to shut this one down. Unsiege as well on the first one. Not going to happen, but I think the one on the left will finish up. Well, the ghosts are nearby. And he decides not to unload any of the actual lurkers. Let's see. We keep it going. We keep it pushing. The Zerglings will go into the mineral line. But as long as there's a bunch of Hellbats nearby to prevent the siege tanks and the SCVs from dying, I don't think this is really that big of a deal for Maru. That's the one criticism, I guess, that we can have in this game for him, or in this series. He's been on point in almost every regard, but the Ling run-bys have been hurting him quite a lot. +3 armor, +2 attack, +1 air attacks. All finishing up around the same time for the Terran here. I don't like this position very much here for Reynor anymore. Like, look at the map. It's not an impossible spot here for Zerg at all. He's got some money in the bank, but... Ooh, this Blinding Cloud is lovely, though. It's just that this all feels a little bit finicky for the Zerg, right? Like, you have this decent army, but you don't really seem to be able to make a force that can really directly beat that of the Terran. So if you have a similar bank, a similar amount of bases, isn't that just a recipe for disaster? I think this is exactly what Maru wants to have his opponent. He does take a bunch of banelings to the face on the Ghost, though, and that is expensive. Maru trying to see if he can secure another base over here. Tactical nuke also is going to be utilized onto this base. Okay, the Ghost ends up getting sniped, the one that was casting the tactical nuke. Man. 3 back-to-back-to-back long macro games. Yeah, so Maru's got a similar economy, but he's got a far more cost-efficient army than the Zerg can muster. So therefore, I don't really know what Reynor can do. Like, what do you produce here? What sort of unit composition do you make? Reynor has money to make any sort of army he wants. But what army do you actually make? He's trying to see if he can backstab. He's trying to see if he can use that advantage of the speed for the Zerg here. Getting the Hydras to dash a little bit closer yet again. Maru secures a new mineral line, though, and that is the absolute key for him. Lurkers on the left side, at least, are really annoying here for Maru to deal with. But he has cleverly built a lot of solid static defense and a lot of key locations. This hatchery is going to fall. Again. Whew. Yeah, Maru's too quick, man. Too quick. Too good. Too powerful. Too handsome. What doesn't he have? What can't he do? I've actually never seen him play Zerg. I've seen him play Protoss. Maybe he can't play Zerg. I would love to actually see Maru play Zerg. That'd be really fun. Night is where I'm going up in the back of the Terran's main base yet again. This siege tank, for some reason, not sieged up. Yeah, he decides to do so right now. A little misplay right there from the Terran. Hatchery in the middle goes down. We go for that base yet again. Nidus Worm in the main also does get denied. There's now triple tank available for Maru. He only really needs one of those bad boys to be within range to be able to shut this down. Little changeling there gets denied as well. Reynor keeps on sending out little pockets of those guys, but not quite getting the job done. And while we see Terrans usually run out of resources the longer that the games go because they have to build so many structures, that doesn't seem to be an issue here for Maru. Right? Like, how many games of, for example, Bjorn have I cast recently where Bjorn just has a similar amount of structures, but he doesn't have a bank? He's unable to really get the money in to reliably support all of this. Maru does not seem to have that issue at all. Hydras yet again get within range over here. The planetary fortress may be next, but he needs to be careful that he does not get cornered by this entire Terran army. Blinding Cloud has been activated, at least for a little bit. Yeah, he's thinking about killing the command center, but he also knows that that Terran army is out on the prowl. He does not want to be stuck right over there, but you know what? He may still be stuck. You can go for this fight yet again on this hatch. Man, this hatchery. This hatchery has been an absolute disaster. This is just... How many times? Seriously. The Banshee's killed it like 4 times? There have been a bunch of cancels, there have been a bunch of kills. But this mineral line has been an absolute, thorn in Reynor's side. Just not working out for him whatsoever. Those Nidus Worms are not free. The fights over here are no good for Zerg either. Maru is pushing pretty deep onto creep. If there ever was a time to commit, right now would be exactly the moment to do so. Blinding Cloud onto the siege tanks. Did Maru overextend? Does not look like it. He's got plenty of units remaining. He gives his opponent about a half dozen Gs. And just like that, it is Maru who wins the series 3-0. Now, a 3-0 win. Terran versus Zerg. Taking like what? An hour? An hour and a half? An hour and 45 minutes even? I don't know. What a ridiculous series. I think if Maru would have lost this map, he would be more than keen to play another macro game. Ridiculous. There are so many highlights here, though. Like, this is some of the very best Terran play I've ever seen. I've been watching SC2 for a decade and a half. It's ridiculous how much value Maru ended up getting there. Really good micro, really good macro, really good strategy. I love the Banshees in particular. I guess that was a bit of a personal highlight, but obviously those are hardly the hardest thing that Maru has done this game. Just controlling the battlefield and actually taking the entire map. That, I think, is so difficult for Terran to achieve. That's where we usually see Terran players falling short. Like, it's very common to, like, take one of the bases in the corner and then, like, be too far out onto the map to be able to defend the other side of your bases simultaneously, right? But Maru seems to have enough units to then defend all of the different groups of the map at the same time and somehow, some way, keep the Zerg player at bay, even with Nidus Worms in the main and aggression all over the map. Just phenomenal gameplay here by Maru. GG.